Going into this, we thought, all right, let's not take more than a week of everybody's time. Let's have a hard cutoff date on Friday where we would go test ride the bike and everyone would get to throw a leg over and to see the result of their hard work.
So it's kind of nice to come out and have like, this is we're just getting down to it. This is from start to finish, banging it out in a week. It seems like that'd be constraining, but it's actually really nice to hear.
I would say like 3, even 4 days before that deadline, I think everyone kind of realized that it might not be the case.
Get on with it. Come on, get on with it. Come on, get on with it. Come on, get on with it. It's what I say.
Right there, that looks awesome.
It's what I say. It's what I say. It's what I say. It's what I say. I don't like you, but I love you. I don't want you, but I need you. And I need you. I don't like you, but I love you. I don't want you, but I need you. And I need you.
These look great. Let's put them up on Troy.
Joe, does this look straight to you? Yeah, man, that looks pretty tight. Go where you wanna go.
I'm all about it, dude.
I actually like the bearing on the build a lot.
Here's that tire.
But I love you.
You know, I'm not a builder. I respect all these people, but I didn't know what the workflow looked like.
People don't ever get to see the process, and to me, like the most important part of it is the process, that whole experience, the time that went into it, or the emotions and all of those things that went into that.
Building a motorcycle in such a short timeline requires so much energy, focus, rest, and we like being social. So that was a struggle to find a balance.
And man, I love to have fun too.
Rebel yell, it's not just for breakfast anymore.
About Rebel whiskey. I'm gonna be up all night.
It started off great because everyone was so excited to be just hanging out with each other, and that quickly changed when we started getting into the brainstorming.
I just looked around and I was like, man, like, we're not gonna finish this in time. You know, there's too much fun having here.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of breaking that into that groove the first day, getting everyone a little excited and then broken.
I get pulled into that easy too. It doesn't take very much for me to be like, all right, we're gonna have to extend this another day or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to do that, man. And that's one thing, and then the focus thing. This stuff requires so much fucking, like your full attention. You can't have that. If you're serious about it, you can't. That's why normally I don't work with anybody, because of that same reason.
Everyone's got such a solitary process that getting it all together, I don't think anyone really knew what it was going to be like.
Just me in my shop. I don't have any co-workers, so to speak.
Along with the initial ideation, brainstorming stage, then came the realization that everyone operated differently.
And there's a lot of different ways you can attack it. So, and there's sometimes I work with wireframe bucks to lay out a design. There's other times I just carve it out of foam.
Maybe if I was in somebody else's shop and they would say, like, let's make this pattern off of foam or whatever, then I'd be able to jump into that. But I'm not really set up for that. I'm set up for the way that I do things here.
Christian's method is wireframe every time he puts something together, but it works for him.
I think also because this was Christian's shop, I think a lot of people were like, well, what does Christian want?
Jay said it once that he and I were even trying to pull Christian's influence in the way he does stuff into it. Whether that was, on purpose or subconscious, I really don't know. But
I think it was like a 2-day process to get the wireform kind of sorted and a direction. And it's fun too, like with a few people, the direction almost isn't as conscious as one person might intend it to be. Alone in your own workshop, you really get to decide how everything's going to go together, and you can rip stuff apart. But with a few people, everyone's got their different sort of ideas and styles.
At one point, I did feel like I was kind of orchestrating the situation a little bit, where it was like, nobody has ever worked with each other before, so we were all having a really hard time just getting the first step.
Nobody wants to like necessarily like step on anyone's toes creatively, but you got to be able to get through the ideas.
I don't think anybody really wanted to take the lead because everybody has respect for each other, and I felt like it was kind of holding us up a little bit. It's like, all right, we just got to start moving. Just let me get the wireframe part figured out. So when I was like doing the wireframe, I had those, I don't know if you saw the papers that everybody drew the first day. I cut them all up and I tried to take a little bit, like a little chunk off of each person's drawing that I thought stood out, but I also thought kind of like went together, and made the wireframe around that. It's a little bit of everybody, I think.
We had several creative brains in here trying to create a design, and that it, for the most part, I think it's pretty much stayed true to that.
A good balance of some creative input here or there kind of came from everybody. So it's a good example of the artistic process. As you guys know, in collaboration, you really have to give into it.
Here we are trying to capture the creative process, but watching them from happiness, glad that they're hanging out, to realizing, oh man, we gotta build a bike still.
Things moved slow the first few days, and we really had to build up steam. It was like, okay, we're halfway through this process, and we're nowhere halfway through all of the work. You do what you gotta do, and that means working around the clock.
I realized that this was no easy task. Building a motorcycle in 1 week, it's pretty absurd, actually.
There's nothing easy. There's nothing easy about it, you know? The whole thing is, it requires so much energy, and it's hard.
We were under a tight deadline from the start. Sometimes you even need that extra added pressure to get past or get over the hump and get over center.
Do you mind to quit your pretending? Truth or false, the shit never ending. Hear me now and stop condescending. You see, I'm begging, you hear me begging. If you're sick for love, don't try to hide it. Find it deep inside and try to hide it. If there's a way, I wanna know we tried it. Quit your games and now that you denied it. Losing this game, I can't afford to be losing this game. And I know you're the safest bet. Losing my mind, can't find the words, no, I can't seem to find. But I'm really trying to get reason, rhyme, and take our time and choose. Whether we dip or yellow, whether we dip or shallow.